Ladies and gentlemen, happy Friday. Welcome to Finish the Story. I am your host, Keegan Ray. You already know I'm joined here by my producer, Mr. Trent Ludzak.
Yup, I'm here.
On the same side of the table, so you know it's going to be a guest episode today. But before we get into that, dude, I wanted to talk to you about, so we always talk about reading, right?
Yeah.
So you talk about you like to bar read?
My favorite.
Okay, so I was telling one of the dudes I work with, I was telling him about that. And this is how he reads. He said if he's doing like Lord of the Rings, he will put on the soundtrack to the movie and will listen to the soundtrack while he's reading the book. And then when he gets to like a battle, like Battle of Smaug, he'll switch the soundtrack to like an intense part. And that's how he reads.
I don't know if I like that. 'Cause I feel like the music would actually crush the immersion for me because I would keep losing focus.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I would be afraid that somebody would walk up and I would be...
I do it too.
What, you do that? Actually, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and introduce our guest. We have returning to the podcast, Mr. Billy Willie, man.
What up? I'm sorry. I just wanted to interject because I do the same thing.
Really? So you do a soundtrack?
But I usually very chill. I don't really... but yeah, I'll do the same thing. If there's like a really intense like battle about to happen, like I'll put on the epic theme.
I like that.
And I do choose themes based on like the setting of the book. So like the last book I read was set in the desert quite a bit, and I would put on a desert sounds ambience video. It's actually quite nice.
That's awesome, dude. I do like it. I like it because when I was listening to Dune, they did that. In the first Dune book, when it would get to like an intense part, they would have just like ambient build-up music.
I mean, that's completely different if you're talking about an audiobook.
No, but that was the first part of like me being like, oh, I kind of like having something back here.
Okay. I don't like when the audiobooks do it, though, because there's no option to turn it off if you don't like that.
That's true.
I was listening to like one of the Star Wars books, and there's all these laser sound effects. I'm in the car.
Oh, I would hate that.
Yeah, I hated it. I was like,
it's
this
just some
sucks.
guy going pew 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 pew.
So
no, I would hate that.
But I read on my Kindle, so I'll set the music myself.
Do you like the Kindle?
Oh yeah, it's my favorite way to do it now.
Really?
Because I'm just bad at. I move a lot, and I'm very unstable. Like, I can't keep things nice. So if I have a paperback version of a book, it's going to get all fucked up. It's going to get sticky. I'm going to spill grape soda.
It's going to get sticky. What kind of books are you reading, Billy?
Well, you know. Right? I am reading a kind of a romance novel right now.
Okay.
My wife,
that one will get sticky for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
My wife recommended it, and...
Dude, one of my girlfriend's friends said that she's been reading a book, and she said, girl, you got to read this book. I've been wearing my vibrator out. She's like, that's how she described this book. I was like, dude, and girls get mad about porn. Like,
yeah,
you're reading filth.
Well, do you like the dirty talk?
Yeah, a little bit.
Do you initiate it usually, or does the girl initiate it?
Usually, I would initiate it if I'm drunk. But I don't ever want to talk about, like, the next day, don't ever speak about what I said last night.
Because I think girls like to dirty talk a lot.
Yeah, and it's like dirty talk is like a book.
Maybe just I'm not that into it, but I always feel like my wife is, like, down to dirty talk.
You know what?
Maybe she just doesn't like you that much and she's being mean.
No.
Well, no. I just mean, like, sexual conversation, like dirty talk. Yeah, that's possible too.
Yeah, you have like a degrade.
You're a mama's boy and you got a little dick. Oh yeah, baby. What else?
There's some truth in this.
And she's just going to her friends like, he just won't pick up the signals.
I'm literally putting it out
telling
there.
it to him.
I'm just beating off every time.
I try to have a normal conversation with him, and he just starts beating off. Like, I tell him he's a fucking loser. He needs to get a job. You're just like, oh yeah. She's like, no, seriously.
He keeps saying, I'm going to be the next Louis C.K.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Telling something.
Hey, you got the black T-shirt on, Keegan. So
wait. So what do you listen to? Do you listen to porn sound effects when you're reading the romance novel?
No,
because that would be just put ambient porn on.
I don't typically read romance novels, but this one's in like a fantasy setting, and my wife knows I like fantasy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So now it's fucking you couldn't even possibly do.
Yeah. She's like she's fucking like monsters and stuff.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that's a slippery slope.
that's
Yeah.
the female equivalent of hentai. I
Yep,
think.
that's exactly what I was thinking. That's a slippery slope to hentai.
Pretty much. No, it's the same as Twilight.
roads
That guy
lead.
was a monster.
Oh, yeah.
Technically. He was a pussy ass monster, but
What?
Twilight.
Oh yeah.
He was a vampire, I guess, technically.
He was a vampire.
That one I have
That was
problems with
basically the whole
because
premise.
you don't get to choose vampire and then not follow the regular vampire lore that everybody knows. and
Yeah.
loves.
Yeah.
Like they can't walk in the sun.
It's like you can't just claim Champagne, you know what I'm saying, unless you're from the Champagne, France. Like
Yeah,
you can't claim
Yeah.
vampire unless
This
you're
doesn't even look like real
Yeah.
champagne.
Yeah.
You got to
dude.
make up another stupid ass word like prosecco or something.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. You can't be a vampire. Like
Yeah.
you didn't follow the rules. You weren't in Champagne, France.
Much like the wine that we're talking about. It's sparkling wine.
No.
Sparkling vampire. That's it's the variant.
You can't just make it sparkling and call it.
But you know what does have a lot of variances is zombies. That's
Yeah.
kind of up
Yeah,
for
yeah.
debate.
Yeah.
Because it's like when you say a zombie movie, I'm immediately like fast zombies or slow zombies.
Yeah.
Like smart zombies or stupid zombies. Like are we talking about a horde of zombies?
Yeah.
Well,
we
that's
talking
what
about-
I
There's
think.
so many
Like,
different kinds.
well, hey, Fallout did it right. They just made up another stupid ass name. They just call them ghouls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Like
not-
now we have our own rules.
Yeah, now we can do whatever we want. They can be stupid or they can be smart. They can be fast
Right.
or slow. Because they're not zombies. They're ghouls.
That's true.
That is true. I never really thought about that.
Zombie movies have never really I saw a few when I was a teenager that I liked, but really not my thing. Like I'm just like they always feel boring and too formulaic.
I
In
think
a
they're
not
for
fun way.
teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched every zombie movie when I was a teenager. Let's see, when I was in high school, the 28 Weeks Later.
Yeah,
came
that was
out.
the one. That was the big
Yeah.
one in high school.
My favorite is that Korean one when they're on the train.
Train
Train
to
to
Busan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Now that one
Yeah.
would suck. That one would be
To be stuck on,
You're
is it
just
like a
dead.
bullet train or?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a tough time.
Yeah. That'd be tough. It's
Well,
just like
Did you ever
God
watch
damn it.
Snowpiercer, the movie?
That movie was pretty fucking good.
Dude,
No, never watched
that's what
it.
everybody keeps saying, but if you go back and watch it, it's one of the worst movies.
It doesn't hold up.
ever. And I had to
Didn't
prove
hold
this
up
to
at
my
all.
friends because they all said the same thing. I was like, yeah, that movie was awesome, dude. I was like, no.
Yeah, I haven't seen it
The
since it
movie
came
is
out. I
dog
think.
shit. It's very K-drama, but they put a bunch of white people in it.
Yeah.
And so you don't realize it's K-drama. But then once you lift the veil and you realize, oh, the guy that made Parasite made this,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, this is stupid. This is what he had to make in order to make Parasite, which was good.
I love when movies don't hold up. I watched Major League the other night with Charlie
Yeah.
Sheen. Woof, that's a rapey movie, dude. Like, holy shit, bro. Like,
mean,
and one
Charlie
of the
Sheen
plot
was in
points, not even Charlie Sheen, one of the plot points is like the old player on the team is like following his ex-girlfriend home from like her date and like finding out where she lives and like showing up at her house and shit and like coming in, not
Just- yeah.
knocking. It's
Just cool,
fucking-
cool
Dude.
guy stuff from that.
yeah,
back
just
in the
cool
day.
stalker guy stuff, dude. I was like, this is wild.
You watch some of these old movies, like even like Judd Apatow movies or like Seth Rogen movies that really weren't that popular, like not the big three or whatever. Some of the jokes in there, you're like, people would be outraged if
Yeah.
this came out today. Or not even like outraged. They would be like the stuff like Shane Gillis and Dave Chappelle say and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like is like Radio Disney compared to some of the things they used to say in like 2000,
Yeah, they used to get away
between
with a lot more.
2005 and 2015.
Yeah, but look at what the stand-up was during that era.
Dude.
wild shit.
It was like Dane Cook was the man.
Only until recently has stand up not been like really kind of the Wild West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly, I would
It's
say
still pretty
after,
Wild West.
after COVID is when the paradigm shifted a little bit. I think there's a
Yeah.
lot more, what you would call representation, or just these weird like super. I don't know. It feels like a lot of times there's two teams in comedy, like there is in politics. Like the people who are like, you should be edgy for the
Right.
sake of being edgy, and then the people who are like, you should be queer and
edgy is bad,
yeah,
unless it's in this direction.
And edgy
Yeah.
is like unacceptable, and
Yeah.
we're gonna like put you on blast to the whole community if you are bad, essentially.
I mean, who gives a shit, man?
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm becoming a Marietta comic. I don't care anymore. I really want to move on to a farm.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
That's gonna
Dude,
be
I've been
hard to do in Marietta.
yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, for now, I'm not an Atlanta comic.
That was like,
anymore. I
so
don't
not to
care.
get crazy off topic here, but no, that was like we finally came up with names for the kids, right? So we finally got names,
Okay.
and I want to name the girls are going to be Ava, Riley, and Emma, and I wanted to name her Emma Jean.
I'm
And she's
still
like,
sad.
that is
Nah, you
so
can't do
hillbilly.
that. You can't
And I
do
was like,
that to
dude,
that
you
little
want
girl.
an acre of land, you want chickens, you get Emma Jean. You know what I mean? Like that. Like you don't get.
I'm upset that you guys didn't pick one Dune name.
I really was fighting hard for a Dune name. Irulan, Siona.
There's a few good ones in there.
There is a lot
Some
of
of them
good
are
fucking
tough.
names.
Some
yeah,
of them are pretty tough.
yeah. Some of them, it's like you can't do that to somebody in
One of the main
kindergarten.
characters of the last book is Orderade.
Oh, really? She's
That's
in the
a
last
tough-
book too.
Yeah. She's one of the main ones. I forgot she was in the second to last
Mhm.
one.
I've been just ripping through audiobooks.
Nice. I don't do the audio books as much just because
We got that sweet Kindle.
Yeah, the Kindle is nice, and I feel like I don't retain any of it when I listen to it.
You definitely have to sometimes pause and go back. Because you'll just be like, what the fuck did I just listen to? I just wasn't listening.
Yeah, I'm such a space cadet. Like,
Yeah.
it'll be talking for like 30 minutes before I realize, like,
I don't even know how many chapters I missed.
Hey, I mean, dude, I get home some nights and I'm so into the book. I'm like, I was completely on autopilot. That is terrifying. I hope all of those lights were green. Because I'm just like going through a fucking traffic light, just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
A good book is like something that nobody really has to like sell. I know they do some advertising for books and stuff, but usually you find out a good book because everybody around you is like, yeah, I got sucked into this thing.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
I mean, it was rad. I've been reading Dune and I got to talk to my dad about Dune and about reading it in high school. And like, he was saying The Teachings of Don Juan. Have you ever heard of this book?
No.
Apparently it's some trippy ass book. He was like, dude, when I was in high school, he's like, all the fucking like weird kids, like the drug kids, the kids listening to the Grateful Dead. He's like, they all read this book. I meant to bring it up to you because I've never heard of this book.
I've never heard of it.
But he said Dune was a big one and this one was a big one. Apparently
Let's
it's
look at the Wikipedia. That's a cover.
This looks like one of those like conspiracy.
Nah, it's a first. It's like this dude. He goes out and I guess he takes peyote, and he has like this divine intervention with like a lizard, and he's out there he's basically just tripping his balls off in the desert, and it's like his first account.
Work of anthropology, now considered a work of fiction. Okay, so he just kind of like he took some liberties in this thing. He writes it as a novel, but it's kind of like, yeah, this might have been.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
think
like
it looks like
a
Fear and
guy's
Loathing
personal
in the
experience.
fucking Mexican desert is what it looks like.
I feel like it's like the psychedelic version of those scientists who fuck dolphins.
Kind of.
Was there scientists that fucked dolphins?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
John
yeah.
Lilly.
And they wrote a book.
John
And
Lilly
it was
had a
like
house.
they did a whole study, and then it was discredited because they were fucking the
Yeah,
dolphins.
John Lilly had a house that was half of the house was flooded so that it was underwater, and the lady would be there, and the dolphin would come up and interact with the lady, and so the lady was trying to get
Interact
this dolphin.
is a nice word.
Well, all right, so she was trying to get
I
this
understand.
dolphin to like do stuff, and they're trying to get it to speak. They're giving it LSD, but then she's like, "This dolphin is horny as shit." And just wants to fuck me. So she would jerk it off so she could get things done. And so the
Yeah.
dolphin started just training this lady to jerk it off. Yeah, dude. And the government came in and was like, wait a minute, y'all are just taking
Yeah.
acid and jerking off dolphins?
Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
You
This
didn't-
guy was Jeffrey Epstein of the dolphin world.
I mean, yeah, dude. He was
Yeah.
in there having some P. Diddy freak-offs with dolphins.
Out of control.
Yeah, the government shuts it down when they come over, and it's like a psychedelic orgy with animals.
Did they kill these people?
No.
'Cause I'm saying you don't
It
get
wasn't
to do
Ruby Ridge.
You don't get to do Waco. You don't get to do Ruby Ridge, and then you gonna let these people off the hook.
No, man, they were scientists. They're like, all right, dude, this got a little off the rails.
I mean, they're not scientists now.
So
Yeah,
did the
but
dolphin-
sometimes it's gonna get a little off the rails.
I like how they would like, yeah, we're gonna get these dolphins to talk. But
I mean, that's
all
a
the dolphins
definite.
wanna do is
So he
fuck.
said that he was in the ocean on acid and saw a dolphin and came up like, these things are smarter than we think. He was the first person who really led research to figure out how smart fucking whales and dolphins are. Like, people didn't think like that. So this dude was just tripping and like saw a dolphin and was like, whoa, that's a water person. And then they were like, I think it was giving the dolphins LSD.
That was another big.
Yeah, I
part
think
of
that
it,
was
yeah.
part of people being like,
They can't consent to that.
yeah. Like,
But how sick would it be to see a full coral reef
on acid.
just trip and you're just underwater? That'd
Dude,
be
how
pretty-
sick would it be to do a triple backflip up out of the water on acid?
Yeah.
Just-
Or also like the way they move in the water, you're like flying.
Oh, yeah.
right? Like in your world, you're
Uh-huh.
just blasting around. And imagine just blasting around the ocean, tripping your balls.
That might have been the argument in court. They're like, so you're telling me it wouldn't be rad to be a dolphin on acid?
Imagine if you could take acid and then fly over New York City.
That would be a pretty good.
Just some dude in like a Grateful Dead shirt. Like, so you're
Yeah.
telling me as a dolphin you don't want to eat acid?
It's
Come on.
it's 12 Angry Men, except there's just one deadhead trying to talk that talks the rest of the room into it.
He's in the like where they have the room where they're having like the quiet discussion. Listen, I know a lot of y'all have never eaten acid before, but I'm telling you, it's fun.
That's why it's good. That's why it's good that I snuck some into this room today, so we can all experience it before we make our verdict.
They're like, I've never done LSD. You're like, are you drinking that coffee? Correction,
Yeah.
you hadn't done LSD.
One time we were hanging out. My brother was giving his friend a hard time about like
Mhm.
doing drugs and stuff because we were very like,
Yeah.
you know, my parents are like Reagan era. And
So he was giving him the dare intervention.
yeah, well, he was
It's not
he was
cool,
just
bro.
grilling him about it.
Yeah.
So then my friend goes like, it was real hot out that day. He just rubs his neck and like gets a bunch of sweat on his hand and then rubs it on my brother's like face. And he goes, there, now you've done acid too.
Oh,
But
man.
he was joking.
yeah.
Yeah.
But as a kid, you don't know
That'll
the
They were
science.
in like high school, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, what?
And my brother went ballistic, dude. He got so mad.
Bro,
Yeah.
that would spiral you so hard that you would be a different person by the time you realized you're not going to trip.
Yeah, it might not be that bad, you know. Acid's one of those where it's like it's not like you can overdose or like you're just gonna be weird for like 12 hours.
Maybe ever.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, that's
no,
You
it's a
can
tough
overdose.
one. We're on record here
real
hating.
LSD.
We
Acid
do
is
not
bad.
like it.
You should never do acid.
No, not acid's bad. We're just dosing somebody is crazy.
Dosing
to me.
someone without their consent. But he didn't. He was
No,
kidding,
I
but
know, I
yeah,
know.
yeah.
But that is a crazy. I had buddies that used to play a game at a festival where, like, if the three of us woke up in the morning, you'd be like, all right, do you want to trip? Do you want to trip? And you'd be like, yes. And then the game was to try to dose the other one without them knowing. But you knew everybody wanted to trip. But it was like a game because then you'd just be sitting there, like, drinking a water and you're like,
You look over and someone's smiling at you.
yeah, you're like, just sitting there, you're like, who got me? And how? Like, who the fuck got me? And somebody's like, you remember that fucking Hot Pocket I gave you earlier? You're like, dude.
In a
If you
hot
know
pocket?
if you know what you signed up for, then
Yeah. There was a story of the drummer for the Allman Brothers, and when they played with the Grateful Dead, the first time he played with them, he got dosed by Owsley, the guy that made their LSD. So he said the second time he played with them, he's like, fuck that. So he had a bottle of wine. He like wouldn't let anybody near it. He's like, no way. Gets on stage. He's playing. All of a sudden, he said, like, his drums are, like, turning into big old pillows. And he's just like, what the fuck? And he looks over, and Owsley's, they're all sitting over there, and they're dying laughing. And he's like, how did they? And then he holds up a squirt gun. They were sitting on the side of the stage with a squirt gun, and they finally hit his fucking bottle. So he said he's tripping so hard, he just got up and was like, I can't. And had to hand the sticks to, like, the drummer for the Grateful Dead.
Well, I heard something like, I think I watched like a YouTube documentary or something where the guy that was on the road with them driving the tour bus was like one of the leading synthesizers of LSD.
Yeah, he was their sound guy, Owsley. Yeah, he made it and just like, dude, just took it around the country.
But the Dead was literally the house band for the CIA.
They had...
Literally.
Oh, I bet the CIA was at every show, dude. Like,
Bro, no, I mean,
they
there's
were the
an
ones
argument.
dosing everybody.
The moon landing.
Yeah, they
was
wanted
real,
to see
by
what
the
it was
way.
going to do.
They took a shitty band, and they're like, let's see if we can make them superstars with mind control drugs, because they didn't know what it did yet.
Here you go, man. The moon landing was real. You want to buy a T-shirt?
And they did. They did want to buy T-shirts.
Yeah,
It's tie-dye.
they did.
The mob killed JFK. Here's a...
So, man, I wanted
Here's a
to tell you
drink
this.
for the
I was just thinking. I didn't want to
just wanted
forget
to
about
see how
this.
deep Billy was going to go on.
Yeah, I didn't want to forget about.
I didn't
this.
want to bring up conspiracy theories, but I've been
Well,
watching too much.
Yeah, what are you watching? What's the newest conspiracy theory you're on?
I was just watching this guy. What's his name? Billy Carson or something, where he does a lot of stuff.
Johnny Carson's less successful brother.
Yeah, he does. He just does a lot of just like bullshit.
He does a
feel
morning
like.
show.
He does a lot of like.
The early morning show.
You're not far off. It's all monetized. But that got me interested. Then I was watching that show, The 3-Body Problem, on Netflix. I only watched like 3 episodes, but that's a book too that somebody else.
See, I'm convinced
recommended to me.
Netflix is programming us.
Oh, for sure.
Because when I don't have it, and then when you take a step away from it, it like leads conversation every time they put something out. Everybody's just like, have you seen this?
Yeah.
And then all the conversation is either people talking about that or you telling somebody what it is.
I don't know if it's programming, but they have become like one of the major like cable networks. Like nobody watches cable anymore because people used to do the same thing. Oh, did you see this show last night? And so now just everybody watches Netflix instead of.
Yeah, they got us on the you can't share a password.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
fuck you.
No, I don't
Fuck
touch
you.
Netflix.
Yeah.
I haven't had Netflix since my sister got up in arms about the Cuties scandal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
But you
soon
can watch
as-
all of these shows on the internet.
Yeah, I was about to say, as soon as they hit me with the price, I just put on my pirate outfit. I guess I'm getting back out there.
That's why you're really looking to get a bigger computer.
Yep.
I that's why I
Aye.
only keep like Netflix though. So if there's something interesting on another platform, I'm just like, well, let's see what Russia thinks about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It is crazy the amount of platforms and streaming and just it's fucking bullshit.
They just put the new Star Wars Jedi game on Game Pass, so they're about to.
What
get
is
me
that?
For another.
What is Game Pass?
You pay $10 a month and you get all the Xbox licensed games for free. Well, while you have Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like, remember the Blockbuster?
It's basically
summer?
like imagine streaming for video games instead of.
I
where it's
wondered
like
when we were
everything
gonna
that's
get
on
here.
that service.
I
you
wondered
have
when we were
access
going to
Yeah.
get here to just
That's
like
how
you
it
don't
is, yeah.
own it.
Oh, you
You're
don't even
gonna
have
love
to
it.
download it.
I mean,
on
you
Game
don't-
Pass. It is streaming essentially.
I don't own anything on Steam technically. That's how it works. Like any movies, any of that, you just basically buy a license that says you're allowed to access this while we let you.
But you do have to.
As long as we let you,
Download.
you can do that because you paid us. But as soon as we
Until
decide
you
we
say
don't want to
the
let
N
you,
word in the chat one time and we're shutting you
Hell
off, dude.
Yeah.
Like, so I
I've-
played
I've-
Amazon
4 hours.
Prime.
I got banned from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 back in the day because I was hacking. I was downloading hacks.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
there you go.
Yeah.
You were one of those kids.
Yeah. I wouldn't use them until I got accused of hacking, and then I would turn them on and be like, "Yeah, you want to see some hacking?"
Bro, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. You
Bro,
wanna
spite hacking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had a friend that was really good at the game, and we would play together. People would always accuse him of hacking, and I would be like, "No, he's not hacking. This is what hacking
This
looks
is
like."
Yeah,
Do
let
you
me
wanna see
really
the
show you.
side to side comparison.
Yeah.
You just suck. Yeah, but spite hacking, I feel like will get you banned quicker than regular.
Very
hacking.
quickly. That's boisterous hacking. That's really throwing it in their face. They're like, God damn, you can't look the other way.
You said, "Ha ha, I'm hacking," while you turned it on.
Yeah. I knew I was gonna get banned eventually. It was near the end of that game's life.
Oh yeah,
At least
it's
for my
that's
interest.
like one time I got banned from a Kmart because it was going out of business 2 weeks later, and that we went in with that goal.
Dude,
You know?
that's a bad situation to be in Kmart. We're going out of
No, we were going.
We're about to get banned from this Kmart.
That's what I mean, though. They have no idea what they're up against. You're like, we are coming in with bad intentions.
Yeah.
So we
No,
do
they
not
were-
give a fuck. Kmart, damn, that store sucked.
Yeah, we hid in racks and scared people for a little while.
We used to go to Whitewater.
That's a good way to get a fucking bop, bro.
We were teenagers. We were stupid.
We got banned from Party City for sword fighting.
Yeah.
They really didn't like that.
Turns out they don't put swords on the rack. then.
Also, you don't realize this as like a 13-year-old, but they don't really enforce these bans. They just say it.
Yeah, they just say
That's
you're
true.
banned,
And
and
then
you're
you're
like, that's
scared to go
the
back.
law.
Yeah.
until there's a picture on the wall.
Yeah. Dude, those little swords that you could get that they would be like for fencing, you
Yeah.
could fucking wail on somebody
Yeah,
with those
yeah.
things. It would whoosh, come across your leg like a switch. That shit sucked. I hated when my brother would get one of those. He'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna be Zorro." You're like, "He's not gonna be Zorro. He's just gonna fucking hit me." Like, he has no intention of being Zorro. Like, do not believe these lies.
Zorro's nice to people.
You know, like those cat toys with the stick and
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the plastic stick. If you could just destroy.
Yeah, you could
somebody with
defend your
those.
house with that. If you and the cat attack, bro, somebody'd be like, "Ow, ow, dude, quit for real."
You could protect your baby with that thing if you needed to.
Dude, speaking of that, so I was watching speaking of protecting a baby, so I was watching my nephew yesterday at the Taste of Marietta, and as we're walking down to the jump houses, he looks at me and he goes, "I was watching Wipeout the other day," and he's like, "You know the thing they jump over and duck under," and I'm like, "Dude," because I'd already been there. I was like, "You're not gonna fucking believe it. They have one of those." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. Let's get you a wristband. Let's do it." So we get in there. He's waiting. He's so excited. And there's like kind of a bunch of older kids around. And so the guy's like, he's good to go. So I'm like, "Go ahead, dude." He runs in. He sees the thing. He jumps over it. And he turns around. He's like, "Yeah." Dude, this thing just comes and just slaps him, dude. I'm talking about his whole head jerked back. He was like, "Gosh." I was like, "Oh no." Bro, he got up, instant boo-hoo. Just instantly just like, "Get me the fuck out of here." And then as he's running out, like it hits him again. He's like, "No." It was bad. I had to run in there and get him.
Yeah.
And the
Oh,
dude was
that's
like, "Is
funny.
he okay?" I was like, "Dude, get the fuck out of my way." I was like, "Dude, we're out of here." I was like, he's probably so embarrassed, but it hit him.
Yeah.
Dude. It looked like a linebacker highlight reel.
Oh,
Dude,
man.
he just did not see it.
Wasn't expecting it. Took the wind out.
He
of him.
saw the jump, and then that was good enough for him. He was like, "Hell yeah!" And, it was,
I did the whole thing. I'm so excited. I
and
did
he's
the whole
6
course.
years old, so like the height probably should have been lower. He should have been taller because that thing just came right at shoulder length.
Just domed him.
Clocked.
Yeah.
That's gonna get banned eventually.
Oh yeah, I was like, "I am so sorry," and then he was crying like hard, and I was like, "Oh, are you okay?" And he's like, "My back," and I was like, "All right, well."
Have you guys seen the Japanese like Wipeout style skateboard competition?
Yeah.
Did you tell his
Pretty
parents?
fun.
Yeah, but I wanted to so bad go, "Wipe out." But I didn't. I was like, this is a core memory moment. Like,
Yeah, you can't
like
be
I'm
making fun
imprinting
of
on the rest of his life, dude. If he's ever going to trust me, I cannot fucking rag him.
I have not seen the skateboarding one.
You
Oh.
haven't?
No.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty. Wipeout was huge. When I first started smoking weed, the MX whatever.
that one for sure. I remember like
But it was always on.
the new one coming out. I watched maybe like a little bit, but then
Yeah, check
One
this
trick.
shit out.
yeah, in cable TV I lost it.
Are we allowed to
What
watch
the
this?
heck is this?
Yeah, if there's no sound, I think we can.
Yeah. I'm not going to even show it. I'm just going to,
Oh.
we can watch
Oh,
it.
there's like obstacles?
Yeah, so this is just the first one.
Dude, I would die on this.
Yeah, so this is like the home stretch of the first one. Pretty fun.
It's like putt-putt, but skateboarding.
But so the second course is the crazy one. This thing.
So do people eat shit on this a lot?
Oh yeah.
That's
I
what
mean
wanna
this
see.
one is the most wipeout like course. Where you have to get as far into the center of like a circle as you
Yeah,
can.
That's cool.
Okay, they're at least over water.
Yeah.
so they're not gonna
And the
die.
last one is wild. This thing. The first part of this one is the craziest part
Yeah.
because they have to jump up all of these.
Yeah, this is so Japanese. Like, this is exactly what Japanese people would do with skateboarding.
But also, I wish there was another one. There's only this one.
Like, how do we take skateboarders and make them...
I wish that we could combine American Ninja Warrior with Wipeout. You know what I mean? Like, it would be more impressive if somebody was like throwing a dodgeball at you.
Or if they
Yeah.
were all, like, battling each
Tennis
other.
ball
up there.
cannons.
Yeah, dude, American Gladiator and America Ninja Warrior.
It's just, you have to put something else on the line. Like,
Yeah.
one of them has to die or something.
Yeah, or just it's
Whoever's
American,
the worst
yeah.
has to...
You got
like-
it. We need something more. We need we're
The
football.
loser has to declare bankruptcy.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
see through football now. Everybody's like, it's fixed.
That's why Squid Game was so good.
Yeah, Squid Games was great.
Netflix is paying
How
me for
I
this
think we're
podcast.
close to doing like a real life Squid Games. We've got to be.
It's possible.
Somebody could do it in a foreign country. I mean, they're raping kids on an island. We can't get a fucking TV show of people trying to escape. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Escape
At least if you're
poverty.
gonna do something illegal on an island in a foreign country, you know.
But there's a reason they're molesting kids on the island, though. There's some like weird.
Yeah, they're freaks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, in the occult, you're saying?
Well,
it's
like,
blackmail,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah.
I think a lot
yeah.
of it's black.
I think it goes back to that freak Aleister Crowley, right? When he
That's I mean,
I think
maybe
it
not
goes
him.
back further. I think it goes all the way back to ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
I think it claims roots as far back as it can.
I think it has something to do with interdimensional beings or aliens. There's some reason.
I saw that somebody was trying to liken DMT entities to maybe like demons, and I just quit reading that article. 'Cause I was like,
No, I
That's a
don't need
scary
that.
article.
I
energy
was
in
like,
my
dude,
life.
I don't need. I've always just assumed we were partying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need
Well,
that.
I
I've
don't
never
know.
seen them as creepy.
It makes sense, right? It's like
or angels.
when the demon shows up in the Bible, he's like, "We're one, but we're also many. We're legion." And that's kind of what the DMT is like. It's
was
like,
that the Bible or
it's-
300?
It's like one being, but it's like
I think that is in
many
the Bible,
beings,
actually.
you know?
really.
Yeah.
Where is that's in the beginning?
Yeah, the demon's name is Legion. That's kind of where that
Really?
yeah, that dogma term comes from.
Mark 5:1
Okay.
New
through
Testament,
13.
Boy,
TLC.
see, I have to be careful when people hit me with Bible stuff because I don't know enough about the Bible. Where I'm like, if they word it right, I'm like, that sounds right.
I was a youth group
It might be in
kid.
there.
Yeah,
One
I
time
was
at-
a youth group kid enough, I think.
One time at youth group, they had like a bouncy castle thing, but it was a giant inflatable boxing ring,
Yup.
and then they had giant inflatable boxing gloves.
A
And
recipe for disaster.
youth group boys, man, we chipped some teeth
Fighting.
that day.
Fighting hard.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
awesome.
we were beating each other down.
I did when I was in 8th grade. They had one that was where you got on the little post and you had the American Gladiator stick with the two
yeah.
marshmallows at either end.
Yeah.
And the girl that my girlfriend at the time was like, "Let's do it." And I was like, I don't like doing stuff
Yeah.
like that. I kind of get competitive. It's like a weird thing that I'm trying to work on. And she's like, "No, let's do it." And I'm like, "Okay." So we get up there, dude, and I'm just like, all right, I'm just tapping her, you know, like just messing around. Dude, she rears back and fucking hits me in the face with this thing, and it hurt. It like my whole face stung, and everybody that was around the thing was like, oh, bitch, bitch. And I was just like, oh, okay. So I turned around, dude. I nailed her like fucking like feet up, knocked her off the thing. And I remember as soon as she got up, she just looked at me and was like tears in her eyes. She's like, why the fuck would you do that? I was like, I don't.
Bro, that's
you hit
fucking
me. Like,
that's bullshit.
yeah, like you hit me. Don't use your emotions on me. Like my buddy
This is
was
why
like,
I can't date, because I would just leave. I would go home. Never
I'm in
talk to
8th
that
grade.
lady again.
You
That's
just at school for the
ridiculous.
rest of the day. Like, I probably shouldn't have done that. Just the rest of the day. Because it was when you'd have, like, field day where it was just your gym time.
Yeah.
So, like, the rest of the afternoon, you smelled like a foot.
Yeah.
Just in school. Like,
Yeah.
that was the worst.
No.
Stinking, like when you first started smelling like BO and you hadn't figured out deodorant yet.
I think like I can't remember if I ever smelled bad, but after I took Accutane, it like dries out your skin so bad that I just don't smell it anymore. I don't wear deodorant at all. Only time I smell is if like
Accutane destroyed
I
your
didn't wash
ability
my-
to smell bad.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, well it like removes all the oil from your skin.
That can't be good.
No,
Can I get
it's-
some of that?
No, you don't want it.
You're like, damn. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
acne.
And I never do what like the doctor tells you to do or whatever.
I used
so
to put that prescription stuff on my face when I was younger. Bro,
Yeah.
you want to talk about getting sunburned?
Yeah.
You're so susceptible.
Yeah, dude.
Just get barbecued.
It's a chemical burn.
Yeah, dude, you're just fried.
I had real bad acne, like, and it would get like painful, like big like cysts and stuff.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's pretty bad.
Yeah. I'm fucking. Yeah, it's just anything that happens to when you're younger. Like, just school is just such a fucking battlefield.
I really didn't even care about like being ugly. It was just like it got so annoying to like have all of this painful acne on me
Yeah,
that I had to get rid of it.
I had big teeth, bro. It just constant ridicule.
Oh yeah, me too.
I got braces, so it's just like, dude, I had glasses.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
rough. It was rough in the beginning.
Yeah, that's tough.
I was like, God damn.
I was always kind of a nerdy kid, though. I never really cared about like being cool or
Yeah.
which ended up making me cool, just that I didn't give a shit.
Yeah, I would always take risk. I would wear like a turtleneck and go to school and just
Yeah.
be like halfway through the day, like, this was such a fucking mistake.
I guess what I realized was like eventually they're gonna have to get used to it because I'm gonna do weird shit. Like
Yeah.
in middle school, I used to wear like I was very much like the anime kid. Like
Really?
yeah, I would wear like pinstripe pants. And,
No.
Yeah, I
no.
would wear like goggles around my neck.
Oh, no, dude.
But I didn't care because my friends were also weird, and I had tons of weirdo
Goggles
friends.
around your neck is wild.
Yeah, yeah,
I was that level weird, but I didn't have friends.
yeah. So that's what ended up like happening was people eventually just thought it was cool.
Yeah. Okay.
That I didn't care that people said I looked like a fag. Because I would go home and my brother would call me that every day, so
Yeah.
it didn't matter.
Now that was a big thing. I was bully proof because I'm like, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. Like my brother's 4 years older than me and just tears me down.
Yeah.
If there's any sort of semblance of strength, it's
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, let me stamp.
My
that
dad
out.
would like to drink too, so if he would have a few too many
Yeah.
Budweisers, then he would start roasting your ass
Yeah.
too.
Or
So
the right amount.
Yeah. It was like, shut up, like
Yeah.
I don't care. I used to just like sing to my music out loud on the way home from the
It
bus
is-
stop.
It's funny to me to think about your dad just getting a good buzz on and just roasting you, dude. Just look at this motherfucker.
That's my Thursday plan.
When did I raise a little queer?
Oh, what are those fucking goggles around your neck? Jesus Christ. What's the swim beat later?
Sorry, Jeff, I can't meet at the bar on Tuesday. I got to roast my kid.
Yeah. I was
I gotta
very.
make my kid feel
And you
bad.
know that you don't start until you get the right amount.
It was
You're probably
actually
like beer
yeah.
4. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, let me get one more cold one before I start in on this fucking kid.
It was a little detrimental to me because I just
Yeah,
got used
sure.
to doing whatever I wanted and not caring what
Yeah.
anybody said about it. And then you have to grow up eventually and
Mhm.
do stuff you don't want to do.
Yeah, well, it's weird how much that sticks around as an adult. You like find yourself being like this weird, like, oh, but what would other people think if I did that, or if I? And then at a certain point, you just got to, I guess, take enough psychedelics that you're like, none of that matters.
I mean,
None of
but
this matters.
we live in this like social realm of comedy, and I feel like you just gotta get out of that and just live your life.
Because it does feel like the cafeteria.
Yeah.
A lot of times the comedy scene,
Many
every comedy
times.
scene, whether or not it's whatever city, there is a cafeteria lunch.
Come to McCracken's tonight. If you're not a regular
Yeah.
there, you're gonna feel like you got nowhere
Yeah.
to sit in
Yeah.
the cafeteria. And
Has it
you
ever
know, come
occurred to you guys that that's exactly what politics is too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
The
is.
whole thing.
Yeah,
Dude,
it is.
The people who are dropping bombs, that's what they're doing. That's exactly
crazy.
the same thing.
That's a crazy thought.
Yeah, that's
It's
not
exactly
good.
the same thing.
But they're also
It's
like
politics.
molesting kids while they do it.
Well,
too.
yeah.
Like
Well, they're cool.
satisfy the god Amon.
Sorry, I can't say that.
Yeah, you didn't mean that.
No.
I did. I
Monsters.
was really trying not to bring up like conspiracy theory stuff today.
That's fine.
Buddy, in
We
a
don't
studio
give a
like
fuck.
this,
I
it
don't
comes
give a fuck,
out.
dude. I think with as much stuff that's going on, or as much stuff that has been declassified that we know that is true, and you start seeing it, you start seeing a lot of people, like the regular public. It's like a known knowledge that the CIA facilitated crack cocaine to the black community.
Oh yeah, that's a
community.
fact.
Everybody's
now.
just like, yeah. You're
So
like,
you have to
"What?"
look
And
at.
now we think they're on the up and up.
Yeah,
You have to
What are we
look at
talking
everything else.
they did
that
horrible
the-
things with no consequences decades ago, and they definitely just stopped doing that on their own.
Yeah. They definitely didn't get a taste for it and have became this unfucking manageable machine.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah,
we don't.
MK Ultra
set
was a
up-
complete failure.
No, they don't.
Tell me again how you love The Bachelor.
I do think that maybe they figured out you can't really mind control, but there's been a lot of chatter about remote viewing going on lately.
But can you not mind control? I think you could definitely. I mean,
I think you can on like a
I think it's a pretty
psyop
limited level.
I
yeah.
think yes, but I think if you're really like the power of, I think just like the bots and being able to sway public opinion, and like you could literally put out whatever you wanted and then just have this storm of bots, spread it through Twitter and spread it on to every social media. Like that's crazy.
I felt like our society, I feel like I saw the fragility in it a lot more when COVID happened, because I was like, oh, nobody's really steering this ship.
Nope.
No. And you see how many people are just waiting for somebody to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
You're like, Jesus Christ.
Also, why did we build this ship?
There's no.
Why do we? What are we doing with this ship?
Well, no, because I think the original tenets.
Why don't we just hang out on the land we have?
Yeah,
I think the
why
original
am I
tenets-
not back on the beach.
Like life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, those are noble things. All men are created
And
equal.
lies.
Those are noble things. Everybody's free. You have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of press. Not always a good thing, but none of these are always a good thing. But you have the ability, or at least the dream, that everybody is the same no matter where you come from or what your nationality or beliefs are. I think that's good. But so how did we go from that to this like imperialist, like, I guess that's just human nature,
We gave
right?
bureaucrats power.
Like everybody wants somebody to
There's
tell
so
them.
much
Bureaucrats made up
corruption,
some stuff
yeah.
that sounds nice so that they could
Well,
take charge,
There's
and
so
then they
much
just kept
corruption
feeding
in
themselves.
every facet of everything, though. Like, there's so much corruption all the way up that it's like,
Is
like you said, they have
money-
too much power.
Is
Like, you
money
could
that
never-
great? I guess I don't know, because I've never had.
I'm
a
talking
lot
about
of
like
money.
Vatican power. Like these people
Yeah.
own a country. Like, that
Yeah.
people talk about they own an island. What do you
true.
think they're doing in their own country? like, dude, having your
What
own
do you think
country.
They
they're
got
doing
more than
on the
just
ship?
dolphins under the Vatican.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you gave. I mean, just, and you don't report to anybody. The Vatican is like the fucking DMV of countries. They're like, nobody gets to tell them what to do. They're
I gotta
like,
take
nope.
a piss.
Yeah.
Wait, are we really going to talk about this though?
Well, we were just talking about the Pope.
Are we starting?
We were talking. Yeah, we're started.
Oh, we're back.
I was
And
just-
we're back.
I was just gonna say,
we're
like-
back.
When you think about like who's steering the ship, like the whole Israel-Palestine debate goes all the way back to the Vatican, the Knights Templar.
Yeah.
Like honestly, the Knights Templar could have never disbanded. Like they officially disbanded, but they could be still behind the scenes, because when you look at who was really pushing for the statehood of Israel, it was like a British group or something. It was like a group of British like Christians who were like, yeah, why don't we just send them all over there?
Yeah.
It like the way I read it, it was just framed where like they wanted to find something to do with Jewish people.
Yeah.
And so they were like, we'll just create an Israel. But it could really have just been a total CIA psyop the whole time
Yeah.
to retake the Holy Land, which was the whole point of the Crusades,
Damn.
which failed eventually.
Talk about
I mean,
the
they did a
long
few
game.
of them.
Yeah, they got it. They had a couple good
Some
ones.
of them
The
went
long
good.
game.
They had a couple
Yeah.
good ones. But
I
that was
just-
always their goal, was to establish Israel as the Holy Land. And
Mhm.
so they just did it in this different way of saying, oh, yeah, we're going to give Jews back their homeland, when really all they wanted to do was colonize the area, the same as Alexander the Great, the same as the Vatican, the first Pope. They all wanted that.
Well, that's sort of the worldview that I think, like, the non-denominational Christians can get into. Like, the message that I got as a kid was basically that is the goal, to establish Israel, because then the world can end.
Oh, apocalypse? Yeah,
Once
that's what I
Israel
think. That's
is
what.
And
its
then
own-
they can fucking
yeah.
make money every Halloween when they do this fucking
Pretty crazy.
those
But like,
Revelation.
so that, here's the thing. So
haunted
that's
houses.
what I'm saying, is that is the motivation of many Christians
That's crazy.
to be on Israel's side. Is that
But
it's
I-
like
I
we
think
need
the-
Israel?
Prophecy is
We're
being
gonna
fulfilled.
do anything we can to make sure that Israel's a country, because then Jesus can come back and we can go to heaven.
Have they not read Dune? This
That's
leads
basically
to bad
yeah.
things.
That's I'm just telling you what these people say.
The I think the radical Muslims believe something similar, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That there's going to be a final battle over essentially the Holy Land.
Yeah, and I don't really know if I believe it. And then you see stuff like those horses that were running through London, and it's a white horse covered in blood and a black horse, and it was at 9/11, and the clock did 11 dings.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
Okay, that's too
that's
far.
where you're like,
Hold on.
all right.
Hold on. When was this?
Not too long ago. Look it up. Horses loose in London.
On 9/11?
No, it was like,
At 9/11. Military horses run through London
Yeah.
rush hour traffic.
and then this guy was breaking down that this is all a symbol. And then when you,
Okay.
I was like, I don't know.
That's some forbidden knowledge. That's some
Oh, damn. It is a bloody horse.
Yeah, that's where you're like, wait a minute. And
Bro.
then the clock tower like dinged 11 times, and it never does that. And then I was like, that might be some ritual stuff,
yeah.
Here comes a pale horse. Behold,
there's
a pale
people.
horse.
There's people
You
doing
should read the
weird,
book.
weird rituals. But as just like a comic, just a kind of a guy living on the fringe. What am I gonna do about it?
Nothing.
What am I gonna do?
You got to go home and enjoy your life.
You
Watch
raise
that
your
and go,
kids
that's
to
not
be
great.
kind
Yeah.
and to not be corrupt and greedy and evil, and that's
Mhm.
you hope that they build a better world.
So,
than we
Have you
inherited.
had a moment with the kid that's like they've taken a spill, like my nephew? Have you had a moment like that yet, or no?
a couple?
He doesn't let them play Wipeout.
No, I
know,
do. I do let
That's
her
uncle
roam
shit.
around my house and stuff, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, she has gotten into trouble. The thing about the kids is you can't take your eyes off them for 1 second, because they immediately start trying to kill themselves. It's like they know life is gonna be hard. Like
So
let's.
funny.
That's my instinct. Is,
Yeah.
Pull this thing on top
Yeah,
of myself
yeah.
and end it all now.
Let me Looney Tunes this TV right on top of it.
Like, I used to. It kind of does help you like get up and get moving, and if you treat it that way, and like exercise your mind, exercise your communication skills, because that's what you're supposed to be teaching them while they're awake. So it ends up being what you want to do if you treat it right, and you're not like, oh, this is a burden. I have to take care of my kid. Who would want to act that way?
Yeah, it's crazy. We were talking about that before the podcast.
People act that way all the time. Like, oh man, I got to take care of my kid. It's like, isn't that your kid? Don't you want to see
Here's
them?
the thing. I feel like that is more of our parents' generation.
Absolutely.
That acted that way.
I brought it up on your podcast. It was like, the boomers, they're always talking about this generation is so sensitive. It's like, bro, y'all wouldn't get in the pool with black people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're talking about like, need a safe area. You're like, yours was a whites only fountain. Like that was your safe area.
My parents never told me, my mom was great. She was always involved in what I was doing and stuff. But my parents never taught me how to make real change in the world, and that's why I think a lot of our generation is lost right now, like doing things that really don't make sense.
They're like, y'all don't know any sort of trades. You're like, guess who didn't teach us? You.
Yeah. And we talked about this on my podcast the other day, but it's like, they're the ones with all the money, all the spending power, and they say we're lazy, but we're out here busting our balls, and they don't want to pay us a fair wage. They don't want
tipping 11 cents.
Every single one of us has busted their balls, I know for a fact, because you've worked in restaurants. Trent's up on roofs all the time and shit.
Yeah.
And, been a
I work
delivery
3 jobs
driver
right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm fucking killing myself.
Busting your balls. I've busted my balls in many different ways, but not always the smartest ways.
Yeah.
Or
like
sometimes literally.
Yeah, like one I pay for on the side.
A couple times I had to light my balls on fire, and this guy who owns a bar or a venue or whatever is like, oh yeah, here's $5.
And a drink tab.
Whatever.
But you didn't have $5 before.
And some people are cool, but I feel like for the most part, the boomers are the most entitled generation, and they're the ones that call us entitled.
And you know what? The younger generation ain't too far behind on shittiness. Dude, I had a prom party the other day. I show up to work.
They were born, became college age, did acid, and then went hard anti-drug and just took over everything.
Yeah.
There's
as soon
people,
as they got the house.
Yeah.
There's people who settle into alcohol as the drug of choice, and then they just look down on everybody else. I feel like.
I love how they're like, I was at Woodstock. It's like, you did acid in a mud puddle. Will you shut the fuck up? Like, shut up.
Yep.
And it's like, if that many people went to Woodstock, there would have been 2 million people at that show.
They're all liars, too.
No, you didn't.
The old generation, they make shit up the worst.
Yeah.
All the alien abductions. You used to know people in real life who were just pathological liars. They would walk up to you and just tell you some bullshit. And it's like, nowadays, I feel like people can't really get away with it as much because you can go Google their name or whatever and be like, well, there's no proof you did any of that.
Boomers are from a place where they could just literally move 30 minutes down the street and leave a family. Like an entire family, dude.
And
like
you tomorrow all the time.
Could just, and not even like leave the state. Like you could just go a town over.
How could you just leave your family too and just be like, well.
Bro, you could be in the same county.
Yeah, you could technically like run into them at the mall. Just like.
I
had an uncle that had a whole nother family, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Why would you want that pressure?
That's what I mean. What kind of a masochist are you? He had a whole nother house, so that means a whole nother list of chores. And
I wonder if that was a snowball thing. Like, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a girlfriend just to piss her off, and when she finds out about the girlfriend, it'll be over, and we'll deal. About it. We'll deal with it then.
Next thing you know, first it started with
you're
like
too good at hiding.
You had,
she doesn't care. She's not even checking in on you.
So this is how it happens. You're hooking up with this chick. Y'all are doing it all the time. You're getting hotel rooms. You start to be like, all right, dude, for the amount of money I'm spending on hotel rooms, I could get just like a little apartment.
Yeah.
So then you get an apartment. She starts leaving a toothbrush. You're like, it's not that big of a deal.
And now you're paying for where she lives.
Yep.
Complex layered. You're acting a lot nicer
at
when you're at home with your real wife.
Because at first it's fun. You're having a good time. You're getting pussy all the time.
Yeah,
you
you feel great.
I made eggs. Hey,
Hey, baby, you want me to take the trash out for you? No
I
problem.
already took the trash out, honey.
Yeah. Took
Don't
the trash
forget, we got
out,
to take
cleaned
John
the
to
kitchen.
football. And then, dude, 3 months in, she's bitching at you. You go home, the
Yeah.
other one's bitching at you. You're like, these golden handcuffs I've given myself. Because I don't see it.
Well, Herb,
Two
I guess you made
families?
this bed. You got to sleep in it.
Yeah.
And then it just it compounds, man. After that, you got an apartment, yeah.
Oh,
And now,
Jesus.
might
Now
as
you
well
got a
go
house.
for 3, you know?
Now you got a kid because
Yeah.
you're Catholic and you can't wear a condom or else they won't be able to take back
Yeah,
the
and you have
Holy
some
Land
sort of weird cream pie fetish. Like, weirdo.
and enable the apocalypse.
No, that sounds like a nightmare to me. To be caught up in that sounds. That's like people that, hey, I'm not saying anything. If you're poly, by all means, good for you. But that just sounds like there's too much going on. Too many moving parts.
It always is, too.
It's hard to be
I think.
honest with one person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a rarity. Much less if we're bringing in,
Any person, too.
yeah, the yoga instructor from this afternoon. Like, oh, what? All right. How do we know? Is he clean? He pinky promised.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I think I'm okay with it.
But
Good.
he also looks like he doesn't believe in
Yeah.
tests.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, good. I already fucked him.
Definitely
Awesome.
not for me. I can only get along with so many people.
I just the moving parts of a relationship are so much. I'm like, dude, I'm hardly good with one person. I'm struggling with that. Dude, it's hard enough living with
you're
people.
not good with one person.
Dude, living with the person is tough. Because it's like
Yeah.
you think you know somebody until you live with them. That's a whole
Yeah.
other level.
Yeah.
And then you got to raising a family. You got to come up with the parenting. How do y'all, are you the tough parent or is she the tough parent?
We're not there yet,
No.
but
Who do you think, though, is what I'm saying? Like,
I'm
if
gonna
you had to
find it.
guess.
I'm gonna find it hard to be tough.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You're a sweet boy.
It's
Believe that.
no, I can be an asshole for sure.
I don't know.
I know how to do it. I
Just got to start
I
drinking.
hold back
roast
in
the
the
kid
public
every
a lot.
once a week.
Well, you got to
Yeah.
have about 4 or 5 beers.
I know how to be an asshole. It's just
It's tough.
I got really tired of being an asshole after a while.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe bring it back. This might be your new golden age of being an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we swing all the way back like that.
Go full boomer on the kid.
Yeah, they're like the pendulum swung. You're like, it's too conservative. They're beating people for dancing. We swung into Footloose.
Swinging into Footloose is the most ironic way to get to Footloose.
Right? we were-
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think that is going to happen. Everybody talks about everything's too liberal and pendulum's going to swing. I'm like, it might swing into like where we can't dance. Like
Well,
people are bitching about that.
That's the scary thing about the pendulum is it seems to ramp up.
Yeah.
Unlike a real pendulum, it seems to ramp up with the fervor of pushing away from how extreme it got last time.
It's somehow
and then
more
eventually
reminiscent to magnets.
And then eventually, here's what we get. Either the pendulum, it's going to go too far one way or the other. It either goes full communist, full fascist. We get one or the other. It depends which way it swings too far first.
I don't like the pendulum analogy. It feels more complicated than just left and right because I feel like Trump really came out
Bro,
of
a
nowhere.
pendulum literally swings left and right.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't like the pendulum analogy.
Why not?
I mean, yes,
Because
the two-party system is an illusion
I don't think
and a
this
problem.
thing goes left and right. I think it's a little more like it's a little more quantum than that. Like it only exists.
No, it is in the real
when you're
world.
observing it.
I got my brain melted the other day because I watched a video where this guy was like showing like the mask that he was wearing, and then when he took it off, they had CGI at his face, and then they were undoing all the special effects of the green screen behind him, and I was just like, Jesus, they were pitching his voice different.
Dude,
And
I've
it was,
already
like,
gotten to
taking
the
away all the
point-
effects, and I was like, holy shit.
I'm already where I can't tell the difference. with
No,
some of
you
this
can't.
AI
I don't
stuff.
think you can. I think you could show somebody AI now, and I don't think
Yeah.
you would know the
And
We're
difference.
if
really
the
close to the
consumer-
podcast singularity that I'm excited for.
If the consumer has
Me too.
this, technology, then you got to think about what like governments.
That's
have.
what I'm saying. If this is what we're being showed, the technology of like you could do anything.
If they were willing to fake the moon landing,
And that was a long time they did that. They did that long ago, and they did it with flawless victory. Like, dude, people are so stupid.
Yeah,
Nobody's
but how much?
who's filming them taking
Yeah.
off from the moon? Like, who's filming that?
Yeah.
Nobody.
it's a remote camera.
Everybody's watching on some shit box in
Yeah.
their fucking living room.
Well before we had Bluetooth or Wi-Fi.
Yeah, everybody's looking at it like this. Like,
No, I think they realized they could control the narrative with the media at that time. People were watching this.
imagine the
shit.
first guy that's like in some CIA bunker and they're showing him TV. And he's just like, holy shit, dude. We're about to blow these people's fucking minds. like this is about to just.
We're gonna ruin so many generations.
Yeah, that was the fucking pebble into the pond of humanity. It's like, bro, that affected everything.
I do like. Have you guys' parents
Mass
started
media.
getting into the conspiracies yet?
Oh yeah, that's
My dad
good.
slipped into it.
Oh, what did he? What was his
So-
first foot in?
What got him was, did you guys see the HBO limited series White House Plumbers?
No.
It's about the Watergate thing.
Oh, okay.
So something that they make central in that, and it's pretty fun. They make it like silly. It's I liked it. But a theme that kind of runs through it because one of the major guys involved was a CIA guy who always was kind of a tease about being like, were we involved with JFK? His kids say he confessed on his his kids say he confessed on his deathbed that he was involved in JFK. And there's a whole part in that show which did happen in real life. They made it a little more dramatic. But his wife was leaving him, and she was flying to California to meet with a reporter, and her plane blew up.
Dude.
So, like, when my dad saw that, and in the show, the way they did it was she's sitting on the plane with the reporter, and the reporter asks about JFK, and she's clearly about to say absolutely, and then the plane blows up. And my dad looked into it, and he's like, whoa. Her plane blew up when she was leaving him.
That'll melt your mind, dude.
So my dad called me one day and was like, he's like on a Wikipedia wormhole about the JFK assassination.
Yeah, he's chasing that white rabbit.
Yeah, he found it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
You never find it.
I think 10 more years and
I
he'll
told
call
my
me
dad
about Flat Earth.
I told my dad about Epstein, and I remember I told him for years and years and years, and he's like, dude, you got to chill out. Like, so I'm like, they have a fucking plane and an island. And, dude, the day that all the Epstein shit broke, he called me up and was like, damn, you've been talking about that. Because that's what melted my mind.
Oh, yeah.
When my buddy hit me with the Epstein
Yeah.
shit, and they had the flight logs, and they were showing the island.
I first found out about all of that on 4chan, and there's a lot more to
Really?
it. There's like they had researched a lot more of the people that were involved, but you could probably never.
What's
find
hard
that
with
stuff
those
now.
is you have to have like a doctorate degree in like the occult.
They
you have to do some
used-
serious studying.
You got to
to
get deep.
understand.
They
Yeah.
used the internet to cover up most of that because you used to be able to find all the information
Yep.
by Googling these things. But now if you search Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell, millions of articles.
My
come
favorite
up.
is
It's like a wall
Yeah,
of
they
articles.
flood it with articles,
So you
so you
can't
gotta
get
go
to the
way
stuff
back.
that we were looking at, like
Yep.
whatever that was 10 years ago, being like, whoa, this is crazy.
Yeah.
You can't find any of it now.
yeah. I'm telling you, you got to have like a VPN. You got to go dark web. You got to really know what you're doing now.
And I mean, even when Elon bought Twitter, he put out that whole thing about how involved the FBI was.
Yeah,
in-
the
in
Twitter files was crazy,
And they
and
were
everybody
like-
just doesn't care.
They were screening.
No one cares.
everything.
Do you
They're
guys
like,
remember the
eh.
Afghanistan papers?
I guess they can do that if they want. What am I gonna do? They'll just kill you.
Yeah, yeah. They're like, yeah, we'll just blow your plane up.
They'll kill anyone for any reason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I legitimately have said this before. I think they show you the video of John F. Kennedy and they go, dude, we'll shoot you in the fucking head at a parade in front of your wife. We don't give a shit. We shot John F. Kennedy. We think we're not going to shoot you. Stop.
Look
dude.
at John F. Kennedy's numbers. You don't got those kind of numbers.
Yeah, dude.
People don't like you as much as they liked him, and we killed him on the street in
and
front
then
of people.
had the balls to stand in court and talk about a magic bullet, just like telling an impossible thing.
And they do it all the time, though. But the question is why? Like, what is the agenda?
I don't think that's what I mean.
think it's all covering themselves. I think
maybe.
it's they have so much wild shit going on that anything could snowball into anything else, and they're just trying to not let that happen. Because once the snowball starts, it's like I think it's the end of our civilization.
And no one will ever know all the shit that they were up to.
Well, you started to
Nobody
see the
will ever know.
dissolution.
There's
of
like one
Hollywood.
guy. It's like the guy in the TV room in the Matrix who just knows it all.
But you know, there's
And
guys
he's
who
just
went
the
to
saddest person in
Yeah, I
the
was
world
about to
because he's
say,
like
he's
the
just like,
atrocities committed.
I don't think so. I think there's people who went to their graves knowing like some shit, and they knew that it was never gonna reach the public.
Also, a lot of the worst stuff, I feel like
Jimmy
they're
Savile.
not keeping documents, which is way scarier
Yeah, exactly.
because that will never come.
They're not documenting anything.
I mean, what was that dude's name? Jimmy Savile, that dude that was the pedo in like the UK. That dude never got any punishments, and then they did like a documentary after it. He was horrific.
Yeah.
Not only was he fucking kids, he was fucking like dead bodies and shit. Just like a fucking top tier fucking monster. Got no consequences.
The
Was hanging out.
CIA's bringing him dead
Dude, he was
bodies.
hanging out with the fucking royal families and shit.
Yeah.
Like, just calling the queen.
The CIA uses him as a fixer, actually.
There's
Yeah.
something.
He died with no consequences. He
My-
lay in his deathbed just like a big smile on his horrific
Just
face.
nice.
Awesome, dude. Going to hell, and it ruled.
My uneducated opinion is that there's some other type of being here that's been here the whole time,
I hope so.
and that's what it's all about at the
What?
end of the day.
What do you mean?
Whether it's interdimensional or some kind of alien, like they walk among us and they do weird shit.
Oh, yeah. Do you think it's like some reptile shit?
Maybe that's just because I don't want to accept the horrors of human capability.
Nah,
But-
it's the horrors of humans, I
Dude,
think.
my favorite is when you get into like an Uber and they have like reptilian conspiracies on. You ever
Yeah,
hit that
yeah.
one? Dude, I've hit that one twice in Atlanta.
Nice.
The Anaki.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about with the Billy Carson guy. He does
I've
all
hit that in an Uber
Well, we used
a
to
lot
have
of
those
times.
signs around, remember?
Where you have your headphones on and you kind of hear it and you just give them this. You're like, "No, fuck."
But I found with most of these conspiracies, it's like it always ends up in the same place, which is usually anti-Semitism.
Absolutely.
That's how you find out which ones are bullshit.
But there's also a lot about they say about the Nazis and the
My
occult.
favorite
too.
is the Antarctica. If you want to get into the,
Yeah.
I love the Antarctica conspiracies. That's
well-
my favorite.
There might be something over there, man.
There
But-
could be.
Absolutely. I think at this point, at 2024, everybody's arguing. Let's just fucking solve it. Let's have somebody take a fucking plane.
Let's send Mr. Beast up there.
Yeah, let's get Mr. Beast in a plane and fly him to the ice wall. That's what we need to do. If you want to unite this country, we fly Mr. Beast to the ice wall with like Lex Friedman.
You know what's weird about
Go see if it's fucking there, dude. And we'll have Eddie Bravo. So it's Mr. Beast, Eddie Bravo, Lex Friedman fly to the ice
the
wall.
ice wall?
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds
Elon
good.
Musk.
They just get up there and Joe Rogan sitting in an ice bath.
I say they said like Tony Hinchcliffe with.
Tony
It's just Joe
Hinchcliffe will
Rogan. He's
die.
like, it's
immediately.
King Kong, man.
King Kong was right, man.
Man, I come down here and just take an ice bath with King Kong. Yeah, Antarctica is that one will melt your brain.
Well,
That
who
is all
owns
roads.
Antarctica?
Nazis, obviously.
The Nazis?
No, no, no.
Probably.
It's a world treaty that we've always signed. That, like,
Sure.
everybody.
Right,
kinda-
right,
Seriously,
right.
yeah, they're all
I'm
agreeing
sure.
on Antarctica. It's
Oh,
something
yeah.
bad
I'm
down
sure
there.
We
that
wouldn't
that's-
kill each other and take it.
Yeah, yeah.
No country would possibly
like,
consider just moving
Could you
over
imagine if you spent all this money to be like, we're going down there to see what it is, and it's just like giant spider monsters, and you're just like, it's bad. We should have never gone down there.
I heard there was a guy on Rogan's podcast who walked across the distance of Antarctica.
I think he walked down. I don't think you can just, dude. You can't just go milling around.
Or
But
he
we
went
can't
in-
fly a drone.
He went into the WandaVision world.
But I'm
and
saying we can't fly a drone. Everybody's talking about just fly a drone around Antarctica.
the aliens won't let you.
I don't think so. I don't know what it is. But that's what I was saying. What if it was
The
just
reptilians.
a giant
That's where the reptilians
monsters?
come from. Yeah.
Oh, well, if you wanted to hide from civilization, if you were an alien, where's the two places you would hide? You would
Bottom of
hide
the
in
ocean.
Antarctica and in the ocean. And then I saw a video today on some conspiracy shit. They're talking about a lake in the ocean that it's so dense with like salt that a submarine couldn't go down.
There's another place.
So it's just a giant salt rock on the ocean floor.
Apparently, I think it is liquid, is what they were saying, but it's so dense.
Bro, how?
I was like, yeah, but it's one of those where you see a video, but you're like, I would need the science. I would need some sort of a breakdown.
I'm trying to figure out
Yeah.
how physically that works if you have a giant.
But dude,
piece
this
of
is what
metal.
I'm
like
saying.
a
You take
deposit, I guess.
all right. This is how people get in the wildest rabbit holes. Is you're prescribed to 30 milligrams of Adderall. Whoopsie, I
Ooh.
took 2 today, so now I'm on 60 milligrams. You start watching back to back to back to back videos. Phew, you could be convinced to anything.
Yeah.
You could get.
You ever get into Zeitgeist?
Especially me. Well, no, I know what the word it kind of means.
Zeitgeist is a classic YouTube
Yeah,
documentary.
that's
Okay.
a good one though.
Yeah.
What's it
If
about?
you haven't seen,
Just about-
it's about everything.
I was about to
really.
say it's everything. It's a lot of
Ancient-
a lot of people got their brain broke by that
Here's
one.
the thing: some of it is very true and correct, and some of it is
Right.
real loose interpretations
Well,
of
that's how I feel.
translations.
That's how I think it's like every one of these like theories. There's always like a small grain
Yeah.
of truth.
Oh yeah.
The whole section about the banking system is correct.
What
And
I
that's the
was
scariest one to be correct. The other stuff is just like, oh,
Yeah.
ancient people wrote stories.
what
Yeah,
I
you're
believe
like,
is that
"Sweet."
there is an ancient shape-shifting reptilian species that walks among us.
Nice. Okay.
And they
Possibly.
and they
yes.
molest children.
They-
I-
Maybe
Yeah,
some of them do. Maybe some
The
of them
children
That's the
don't.
thing
thing we
has to
know
have
they
a
do.
wider.
They're just like dolphins.
meaning,
We're like
like-
dolphins to them.
I mean, we've caught them twice with the children thing.
Yeah, Franklin scandal, Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a fact.
We
Yeah.
literally have caught both parts of the supply chain. We've caught the front end and the back
I
end.
never
of
thought
it.
about it like that.
Yeah, because like the Franklin scandal started when they pulled over
Do you know
a
about
couple,
that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple hippie cultists
Trying
just
to
got pulled
educate me
over
on
with
that one.
with children that they were sending
Yeah,
to some kind of human trafficking operation
definitely-
and that's the
fact.
guy that's like
that had a
measured-
lot of elites involved, and then 25 years later, we caught a bunch of elites with a bunch of kids. We caught everything except for the active transit from the hippies to the island.
Huh.
It definitely happens to this day.
And they were smelling out the pizza place, which I guarantee you had some sort of jump. But
Nah,
it's like
I think the pizza place was
to throw
was-
everybody
yeah,
off.
I think the pizza place
That's
was
what
like
I'm
a
saying,
false
like a-
flag situation where they just
Yep.
made up a story about something and pumped it out.
Because it's not. I mean, if you control, they're playing chess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if they're controlling. I think COVID broke a lot of people too because
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was such
It
an
did,
obvious
yeah.
lie to people, and like they lied to your face, and then immediately you found out that that was a lie. I think that just melted people.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, what?
If
That-
you weren't ready for that, that'll hit you hard.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. It was all a lie. The whole thing was a lie.
this
And-
kid at work was talking about missing prom and missing his senior year of high school. And then just like, he's like, and then nobody said anything. They're just like, all right, well,
Yep.
sorry about that.
Oops.
That's rough, man. That's,
Uh-huh.
you,
I was
you
like, I
gotta
never
think
thought about
the implications of that on a whole generation of just like, hey. it's
Now
all
that kid
over.
doesn't know pre-calculus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of uneducated kids running around.
Oh, what about the kids that got their driver's license, just gave it to them during COVID?
Oh fuck.
Yeah. And then we're never going to check back in with those kids.
Yep.
Because they'll be dead.
They're all dead, right? They've all wrecked.
Yeah.
Nobody to talk to them about drinking alcohol in moderation or how to drive a car, and now they're dead.
I feel like it was worse for the little kids Because for like a year, little kids just didn't see strangers.
That'll fuck you up. That'll fuck you up to not see strangers, and everybody you do see, they're wearing a mask and not speaking, and they're 6 feet away from you and not touching you.
I don't know. I feel like you don't really remember it, depending on. But yeah, I guess if you're like 10 years old.
My grandmother died
that.
in a hospital by herself because we couldn't go see her.
That's crazy.
Bro, a
Fucking
hospital
rough.
tried to take my grandma.
Fuck that.
Fucking
dude.
rough. What do you mean, take her?
So she had a medical issue unrelated to the Rona. She was at my parents' house, not at home, and she needed to go in for something like related to something like that we knew about.
Right.
We're like, but she does need to see a medical expert. And she showed up, and they were like, okay, well, what medication is she on? Nobody could remember the name of it. My mom's like, we got to go back, or I got to go get this medication. Or she had to basically leave and come back.
Right.
But she's like, hey, I know it's crazy. Move closer. She's like, I know that they're like, it was crazy for them to let her back into the hospital with my grandma. Like they wanted to take my grandma back. No, just like, you stay here. And then my mom was like, you're going to let me back in. And she basically got a doctor to be like, yes, we're going to let you back in. And she like got the information and numbers so that they could call into the doctor at the front desk. She left, came back, and then it was, I think, like 45 minutes of her like fighting, basically fighting the front desk staff, because they were just going to take my grandma and just wind that clock down.
That's fucking insane.
Because they were getting paid to do that.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I think people are starting to become more aware that healthcare is a scam.
The whole thing. The
Healthcare,
entire thing.
Yeah, everything.
insurance, everything.
I'm going to die of cancer I don't know I have.
Yeah, you're fucked.
That's
Yeah.
my plan. Unless it becomes super visible.
If you have a
then
lot
it's-
of money or you're famous, maybe you can get good health care.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at that point,
But-
you're basically just paying a doctor's salary to be on retainer.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like that's what you need. You need to get an untainted medical professional out of the schoolhouse. Be like, all right, you're a fresh doctor. You've done a little residency. You work for me now. You don't
Yeah.
work for anybody else. You're my doctor.
Yeah.
That's a bad place when you're fucking like warlording doctor.
Yeah, you're like, okay,
Exact
here's the thing.
breath.
Keep
Yeah.
up, read all the papers, look at all the medications. I want your honest opinion on, is this going to help me or not? I don't want, I'll give you a bonus for everything you give me, regardless what it is, just so that you don't get bribed.
I hate going to the doctor. Fuck, I hate it.
No, they're the worst.
Jesus Christ. I will talk myself out of it. I will sit in the waiting room and talk myself out of it. Like, I'm actively being like, I don't have to fucking go. I'm not that bad. I don't want to fucking do this, dude.
Yep.
I had to stop that with going to the gyno with Christina. I still had that from me not liking doctor's offices. Every time I go, I was just like, couldn't chill.
Yeah.
Now it's pretty chill. You go in there, it's all dark.
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
to see the fucking what is
The
that?
ultrasound?
Yeah, it's all dark in there. It's dope. The ladies are
Yeah.
always really nice.
Where you at over at
Kennestone?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
that's
always
where-
like, Dad, how are you? I always want to be honest and just be like, hi as shit. It feels nice in here. The little lights are low. I like it.
That's where my daughter was born, yeah.
Yeah. Daddy had a
Get
little
ready
too
for
much to drink.
the childbirth. You're going to be there for like a week.
That's what
almost.
everybody keeps saying.
Like a few days, like
Is
4
it
or 5
against the
days.
rules to bring a PlayStation?
No.
No?
No, but you also have to like use a lot of your time to keep the baby alive and learn
Yeah.
how to keep the baby alive.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of time to play games and stuff, but
Especially 2.
I brought my gaming laptop and stuff. I would bring something entertainment wise.
Yeah, I mean,
Dune.
something. You can only
I don't
look
think
at
there's a-
Instagram so long.
You're going to finish Dune with the kids.
I'm going
I
to finish
think.
Dune and maybe just like get radicalized on Antarctica.
But make sure
I'm just going to send
Just
Mr.
reading
Beast
on your phone.
35 messages an hour. Just like, dude.
make sure
the
you're
ice wall.
ready to like watch the kids so that
Yeah.
she can sleep because
So-
she's gonna be destroyed.
This is my other question. So when the babies come, you gotta stay with them. You can't
Yeah.
let them take them to like weigh them. You
No,
gotta go
no.
with them.
Hell no, because then they sell them
Yeah,
And
so
then
they don't leave
They
the room.
give you like test tube clone babies. If
That's
they
how
do
they
that.
get to the island.
Never let them leave the room for any reason. If they're gonna take the baby somewhere like ICU or something, God forbid, you go with you.
Yeah.
You got to make sure that's your baby.
Yeah.
You think they won't lose a baby in there?
Absolutely. Dude, it's like the level of...
How many babies do you think get lost daily in the
They
United
get one out of the
So
freezer
many.
and they just say, "Here you go."
They just
microwave
they
it for a
pop it in the
minute.
microwave,
I'm
warm it,
afraid-
get it up to body temperature.
How are we going to tell twins apart?
Yeah. I'm sure they'll.
I think
be-
when they come out, you should have a Sharpie and put big
That's
X's
what I
on their
said.
foreheads.
I said, just give one a little tattoo right on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Just beep.
Uh,
People are piercing ears.
no, I think as a parent you'll know.
Because somebody asked me that, are you going to pierce their ears? I was like,
Hell no.
why? Who is that for?
What?
Who is that for? You're just going to imprint this horrific core memory on this little girl.
So it's two girls. All right. So you
yeah,
don't
one
have
would
to-
have to sit there and watch the other one get
You
their
could do
ear
like an
pierced.
experiment where you could pierce one of their ears.
You don't have
and
to
then-
think about the penis.
Oh, I like that. The fucking
Penis
circumcision?
question, yeah.
Oh, man. And especially
Yeah,
for
you don't have to
twins,
worry
what if
about
you
that.
did one and then decided not to do the other? Your whole life, the uncircumcised one is like, what the fuck?
What if you caught him docking one day though? How mad would you be? Like not even sexual.
We call it
just
our
like-
brother ritual.
Yeah, just exploring or whatever.
It's our secret handshake.
Yeah, it's our secret handshake. You're like, what? Knock it off, dude.
Dock it off, you fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, God. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, twin boys, the amount of cum in that house at a
Oh,
certain
no.
age is just horrific. Like, girls are always like, I want boys until you have boys. And then you're just like, how can you cum this much into socks?
Yeah.
Like, why do I have... Like, no.
But think
sir.
about dating now. Like, eventually you're gonna have two girls with two just like douchebags.
Probably. For sure. If by
Hanging
that
around your
time we're
house
not all
now.
just laying in a deprivation chamber
You're just gonna have
watching life
Living
on
in the
AI.
metaverse.
two extra douchebags hanging out of your
Yeah.
Nah,
Or maybe I'll be blessed. Maybe they'll be cool guys.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
never know.
That's
Maybe
how I
they'll
think-
play softball and I'll get a nice lady over at the house.
I feel like Keegan's thing, like he's not gonna be sharpening knives or cleaning guns when the boyfriends come over,
Yeah.
but they're gonna have to watch their drinks because he will dose you with acid.
It's like the boys, I'm going to let them hit my pen and be like, I'm about to ruin this date.
That's DMT,
man,
by
yeah.
the way.
Hey, man, eat this gummy before your date. You're like, Dad, you ruined another one. Some guy's just out at Outback, just like, I had to fucking go. I called an Uber. I'm freaking out, dude.
I'm sorry, I can't see you.
Yeah, I couldn't find our seat for an hour.
Yeah, that's
I
a
was stuck
very,
in the
like,
stall. It was a prison.
That's kind of a boomer mentality too.
Yeah.
It's like,
I want a celibate nun. Why?
yeah.
I want to die. Like, that's so. It's got to be guys that were horrific
Yeah.
to women.
Yeah,
And then they have a girl and they're like, oh my God.
I don't want you talking to any.
I hope they're not. They don't treat women like I've treated women my entire life. That's a nightmare.
I don't want any guy treating my daughter like the one I got chained up in the
Yeah.
shipping container.
Dude, that is so bizarre. I dated a girl that had a dad like that when I was younger. Like, we're like watching
You
TV.
had
He
her
would
in a
come
shipping
downstairs
container?
and like sit in between us. He was, dude, I had never been around a dad like that. But one time we're sitting at the dinner table and he looks at me and he goes, he's like, Keegan, you want some sweet tea? And I went, yeah, sure, that'd be nice. He goes, well, get your ass up and get some. And I'll get a glass too. And I was just like, I was young, like, what?
That's wild.
Like, wow. I told my dad was like, what, dude? Fuck that guy. I was like, bro, he was just constantly like so weird towards me. Like, definitely one of those dads. And I was too young. I was just like, damn, he bitched me around.
Yeah, I feel like all my girlfriend's dads used to do that to me.
Yeah.
Not my wife's dad though. He's an interesting.
That's what
guy.
I was gonna ask. How were the father? Dude,
Well, one time I was working at Baldino's, which he owned, and Valentine's Day was the night before, and he was on like the cash register talking to customers, and he was like, "Hey, Billy, you have a good Valentine's Day?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Did you get laid?" I was like,
Whoa, dude.
That's a weird
that's a
question
little
to
much.
ask your daughter's
Dude.
boyfriend.
I'm not pussy sharing with my father-in-law, dude.
But you know,
What
he was
the
a
fuck?
restaurant guy too, so he was
Yeah.
just being edgy. and
Absolutely.
stuff.
I
yeah.
get it. I
Do you-
get it.
but I was like, dude.
I feel like in his head, he didn't think about who he was talking to when
Maybe
he said
not.
it. He was just
No,
like
he
saying it
definitely
to
did.
everybody
He
that
was-
came in.
He's like, yo, Billy, let me smell your fingers. Like, dude, chill, bro.
That
You can't ask to smell my fingers at the cash register, first off.
But yeah,
This is
he
an
was.
establishment.
He would just like mess with you like that, though, make you
Yeah.
uncomfortable. So yeah.
yeah, but as
it's
an
cool.
adult, like making a kid uncomfortable with a couple words is a pretty fun thing.
Yeah.
It seems like it's always there, the temptation to I'm
To
saying to just
make
roast.
him look
It's
stupid.
just like it seems like it's like with my nephew, the temptation to just be like wipe out,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
right in his face as he's just boo-hooing, was just right there. It was like a devil on my shoulder, like fucking do it. This idiot didn't even know to duck. I think we did it.
We
I
did.
think we
Yeah,
did it.
we're pretty deep.
All
All
right.
right, man. Thank you. You got anything to plug?
Billy Podcast on Spotify and YouTube. And if you want to see my comedy, come to Marietta because I'm a Marietta comic now.
Yeah. Trent, do you got anything to?
I got nothing right now. I just got back from Middle Ground.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just trying to fill the schedule again.
Nice. The only thing I got to say is send the video to somebody, man. Let's try to get the views up. If you listen, if you're enjoying the podcast, send it out to somebody. Tell them, let them come listen to this. This high level.
High level podcasting.
High level podcasting. Thank y'all so much. Bye.